Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Paul K, and welcome to Saturday Mornings Outdoors. On this episode, this will be part two for using a compass, and I'm going to try to break it down and simplify it. And I just want to relate to you guys that and girls that using a compass is much more desirable than using a GPS for accuracy and reliability. You can use it with the GPS. Use the GPS as a backup because of the differential, which I explained earlier. I'm going to keep this extremely simplified so you can actually use the compass and map. I'm not going to use special terms. I may just introduce you to certain terms, but it's not a hard process. Once you do it, you practice it for an hour in your backyard and you can have it down and you can use it. And it's just ultra reliable way of navigating in the woods, especially if you've never been anywhere. And it just adds to the hunting and fishing experience so much because you get an overview, a full overview with the USGS maps. You can see from the air the whole area that you're going to navigate in. That's the value of it. And you can check out every little nuance of the area, especially if you're hunting and fishing, but especially hunting, the hilly terrain, the way air currents are going to roll through and all that stuff. And where deer would most likely be and other game would most likely be in lower swamplands and so forth and so on. There's a lot that it can give you if you just learn the technique. So stay tuned and I'll try to simplify everything as much as I can just so you can use the compass. And with that, let's roll. And voila, what we have before us is called a United States Geological Survey map. Each map generally is around $8 or $10. These are so valuable. There's so much information. It just blows my mind how precise maps can be made, and the information that is portrayed within these particular maps, the USGS maps, are astounding. The accuracy and the amount of detail. So these are the peeps who puts them out. United States Department of Interior Geological Survey. This particular map is Commonwealth of Massachusetts, DPW. And this will tell you the size of the map that you have. You can get them in different sizes, size limits. So this is a 7.5 minute series. You don't have to concern yourself with any of that. I'm just introducing you to the map. Now, on the bottom of any map anyway is the key. This is called the key to the map, and there's so much information here. Let's start on this side. This will give you the year of the map. This is an older map. This is a 1974, I believe it is. This deal right here is the declination. For what I'm going to teach you, you don't have to outside, when you take a bearing outdoors, you don't have to worry about declination. When you're working with a map, you do have to worry about a declination. Get into all this stuff, and I'm going to simplify the living daylights out of it. So the actual scale of the map, most hunters everywhere and the military, it's 125,000, 1 to 25,000. And what that means is how large or small the features are on this particular map. You can get map that basically zero in on an area in a larger scale or pan out on an area in a smaller scale. And these give you the dimensions of measurement according to the map. Hopefully I'm trying to clarify that as much as I can. This top one, for instance, is 1 mile from that point to that point. And this transfers to the map, how large that is. The second one is 1,000 to 7,000 feet, and the third one is in kilometers. I use the old school American, because I am an American. We'll use the miles. I don't use kilometers in this particular video, anyway. This little deal here shows the state and exactly where the map is portraying. And now here, this one here is just really cool. This is the actual total key. This is showing you how a map this particular map, and pretty much all maps in the key is going to show you. It gives the latitude and the longitude, very important, and it's giving you which the roads, how they are portrayed upon the map. Now, each map in the USGS has lines going with the width of the paper and up and down the paper. That is called latitude and longitude lines. And they're broken down into degrees, all right? And latitudes are horizontal lines that measure distances north or south of the equator. Longitudes are vertical lines. These are the longitudes that measure east or west of the meridian in the Greenwich England. Together, latitude and longitude enable cartographers and guys who make these maps and others to locate points and places on the globe. So where these lines go, they're breaking them down into little chunks. The land is broken down into little chunks, and this is how you simplify reading the map. And within each one of these little chunks is even broken down more. If we were doing this in military applications, we would be using what's called a military protractor. It's a gauge. I don't have one with me for this demonstration, but it breaks these down into really minute, called clicks, and they're parts of each of these squares. So basically, so you can understand where you're at, this giant block, that's the whole view of what we can see. These smaller blocks break it down so we can have little chunks to work with, and it simplifies everything. Hope I made that clear. And now just simply the features on the map. You can tell which are the roads by the solid, more direct lines. Little dots are houses, and more importantly are these lines that show elevation. Let me get a pointer here. Let me get a good elevation. Here's a perfect one. This place called White Oak Island. If you can see these lines that are graduated going this way, it's denoting a hill. And you can see kind of in a two-dimensional way that it's trying to show you in its two-dimensional way a three-dimensional form. Wherever it's steeper between these marks, they're closer together, and if they're wider, it's more gradual. But that's how you see how a hill is. Green areas such as this is grassland under 3 feet. If it's over that, if it's over that, it will be. I'm trying to find you an example. In the white areas is flat, and there's no grass or terrain features that are notable. In the swampy areas, you'll see these kind of grass and marsh, and that means it's going to be thick brush, stuff like that. So those are some of the features. And if you read the key and just get the easiest way to really figure it out is to get a USGS map of your particular home area or the area you're interested in hunting in. And then find a few landmarks that are located that you know where they are. And then you can just look on the map and start to see out from that area the terrain of the area or what it's going to be. And you can see where the hills are, where rocks are, where swampy low areas are, where water is. This denotes water. The blue, of course, you can easily tell that. And there's so much information here. And that's a generalization of how these GS. There's so much more into them, but I don't want to get that complicated into these as a beginner course on Orient. All right, so let's get going. Now you have the overview of how the map works, basically. So I'll use this as an example, this area here, since I started. It's called White Oak Island. So as you can see, this is a road, and suppose I want to park my car here. With a pencil, these are erasable, these maps, so you can write right on it and erase on them. So I want to park my car right there, and I want to hike out here to the top of this White Oak Island. It's on top of a hill. All right, so now I have my starting point and where I want to hike to, and then of course I want to get back. And I'll use the same route getting back. And I chose this as an example because it looks like it's pretty flat until we get to this hill up here. I'm not saying there's not going to be brush in here, but it's going to be really low brush according to the map. It'll be a relatively easy hike, and then we can make it on top of this hill here. All right, and then vice versa. So next step, I want to plot my course. This is called plotting your course. So you take your compass and the edge with the ruler on it, you can match up those 2 points. All right, lay the compass exactly on those 2 points where you want to start and you want to end up. Now, grab your pencil and draw a line from start to finish. Okay. All right, you can move that up. Now, an interesting feature on the map, and it's very cool, is on your compass, grab your compass, and with the measuring device, we want to measure in inches, because I said I'm going to go in inches. That's 2 inches. That's 3 inches, and it's 3 1/4 inches. We'll go on our key, and I can tell you exactly how long that hike will be. So 3 1/4 inches is going to get me to 3 1/4 inches is going to be about 3/4 of a mile. It's only a 3/4 of a mile hike. So do I want to do that? That's up to you. You want to do that hike and straight on through like that? But that's how you figure out distances on a map. And it's wicked accurate. It's wicked accurate. All right, so we have the point A start where we want to go. This is where my car will be parked. And I want to go to B here, the top of this little hill. And the starting point and the ending point, and we've drawn a line connecting the two, a straight line exactly in the center of the 2 places that we want to go. Now, next up, with your compass, taking where the direction of travel arrow is, this arrow right here where the point is, if you can see that line, that's your direction of travel. You want to point that in the direction that you want to go, and line up the edge of your compass exactly in the center of where you want to start and where you want to finish. Now, the dial, you want to turn the orientating lines on the dial to match exactly the lines on the map, the up and down lines on the map, the horizontal lines. All right. Now, match that as perfectly as you can get. Very important, match your start and finish lines right on the edge of your base plate compass, and then matching the vertical lines with the vertical lines on the map perfectly. Now remove the compass, don't touch the dial, and when you're standing outside, you want to hold the compass flat, extremely flat in your hand so that the needle can swing very smoothly. And then you want to rotate the compass by turning your body. You hold the compass level and you turn your whole body. I'm sitting down, and this is just a demonstration, but I'm turning my whole body to face that direction, and I'm putting Fred in the shed. Remember, we talked earlier in the first video, the needle is Fred, and the red arrow, the house that it lives in, will be called the shed. So you want to put Fred in the shed. So you're turning your whole body, so that's exactly in that shed. And now, my friends, that's it. That's all you need to do. That's your bearing. The bearing you took off your map is pretty much 150 degrees. That's called your bearing. And the direction of travel that's your direction of travel. And when Fred is in the shed like that, right, that's exactly the direction you want to go. That's called your bearing. You've done your first bearing. We call that shooting a bearing or shooting an azimuth in orientating terms. And that's it. And you follow that line straight as far as you can until that will take you directly to your destination. And that's it. That's how I'm going to try to simplify it now, break it down now that you kind of know the terms. Uh, that's how you get a bearing from a map, and you're able to go from point A to B using a compass. And it's that simple. When you've arrived at your destination, and I wouldn't strongly suggest, you should do this anyway. The reading that we took on the course of travel, remember that we said it was 150 degrees, between 150 and 51. Write that down so you can constantly check as you're moving from point A to point B. Say you want to stop here, stop here, stop. That's only 3/4 of a mile, and that's pretty flat. From this point, I could probably see on top of the hill the direction I want to go. So there's no obstructions in the way, so I can pretty much have an easy course to follow in there. But if you want to just keep checking, maybe here and here and here to make sure you're on the right bearing to get where you're going, I would strongly suggest writing down 150 degrees. So now, okay, so you made it on the top of the hill, very cool, and you're having a great time. All right, so you've spent your time on the top of the hill, now you want to go back. Using your compass, everything's already preset. You've written down 150, 151 degrees, and now you want to go back to exactly where you're at. And how to do that? Very easy. Subtract 180 degrees from 150. But an easier way would be just to, if you turn the compass around, you'll be able to see where that would be. And that would be 325 degrees. So we can just turn that, 325, if you want to do it that way. And then, now remember, everything's going to be reversed now. So 325. You just subtract 180. That's it. And that will take you exactly back to where you want to go, to your home parking area. So now these are just going to be a little tips that you can use. Now looking on this map, there's a road that goes here. This is where I start. This is where I finish. There's a road that goes along here. There's a highway that goes here. A road that goes all the way down. I'm completely surrounded by roads. So if I got lost, and if this was all deep brush and woods, these roads, what we call in orienteering, is called a rail or a safety rail, or you can call it a safety bearing. So if I'm heading in this way, I know that if I got lost in any direction at all, that's the beauty of a map. And with the GPS, you can use it if you zoom out, and it's a whole pain in the neck, but with the map, you can see it all. The whole area is lined out for you, and you're going to hit a road eventually. Now, if you're in deep woods and this was a much larger area, knowing the direction that you were going here, if you got somehow lost and disorientated, you could take a bearing to the right or the left of you and head to stay on that straight bearing if you lost your way on this one. But it's not going to happen. If you follow that straight in a situation like this, you're going to get there. But you're surrounded by roads. You're safe. Walk in any direction, but stay with it. Take a bearing in that direction, stay with it, and you're going to hit a road. And that's what we call a rail. That's just an extra little tip there. And that's what you get by surveilling the area before you leave. You can see all the features, Now, also another note, and so to wrap things up, I'm going to show everything that we've learned in a condensed form, but in very simplified forms. Check your map out. Make sure everything you understand what the map's trying to tell you. You're learning about contours, the roads, and what they designate and what swampy areas look like, looking at the scale of the map. And so that you see a picture, an overview of the area you want to travel. Pick 2 points you want to travel, a starting point and an ending point. Now you familiarize yourself with the map, you can see your area that you want to hunt in. I want to park my car here, I want to go on top of this hill. Mark both spots. Bring your compass in and connect the dots exactly and perfectly where you want to start and where you want to end up. Grab your pencil and draw a straight line. Now orientate the compass to the map. take your edge, point your line, the direction of travel line on your compass in the direction you want to go. All right, keep that straight. Line up your line exactly right. Now turn the dial and make sure you're orientating the compass north by using the orientating lines. The orientating lines are in the compass and using the lines on the map. Line those up perfectly. Make sure you're heading north. Don't have it flipped around this way and line the lines up because you're pointing south. You want it pointing north. All right. Line that up perfectly. And lo and behold, we have the 151. Now, we're outside, remember, holding the compass. Turn your whole body, not the compass. Turn your whole body. I'm just turning the compass to show you as a demonstration purpose. Put Fred in the shed and go in exactly that direction, and it'll shoot you on top of the mountain. And that's how you shoot a bearing. That's how you take a bearing or shoot an azimuth. And guys, and that's part 2. There'll be one more part to this, and that'll be shooting a bearing outside. So I hope you understand and grasp how to take a bearing off a map and use it on a compass to get from point A to point B. I promise you, honest, it's easy. It's easy once you learn that basic technique. If you just do it, you have to do it once or twice. Go outside, get a USGS map from your area, say your neighborhood. Go out and stand in your backyard and find out where you are, read the map, take a bearing on your map from where you are and pick a point in your backyard and go to that point. But figure out the bearing using the compass, and you'll see how easy it is, and you'll go, oh my gosh, I'm holding the world in my hand. I can see every detail, and for 5 or 6 miles radius according to the scale of the map, and that's it. And then you get quads of maps for every area, and in areas you've never been to, you can use the same technique. It's generally easy. If you do it 2 or 3 times, you'll know exactly how to get a bearing off a map. And then on the next episode, I'll show you how to take a bearing out in the field without a map. You should have the map with you, but you can do it without the map. And with using these techniques, it's honestly not hard at all. It so adds to the hunting and fishing experience because you know in your mind what's coming up. You're not gonna get lost, and that's the whole point of the compass. So I hope you can use this information. It really adds to the hunting and fishing experience. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And I hope you can really use this because it's better than any GPS or with a GPS. So until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll probably see you next week. Thank you. Bye. Man, I love my compass.